Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Wow Podcast. I'm your host, Darshawn McAway. Please go to WowPodcast.shop to catch all the latest interviews with authors, writers, and illustrators. Today we have a special guest on the phone. His name is Erik Island. He wrote the book, Jingles the Elephant Saves Christmas. Erik, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me as a guest.
It's a pleasure. So before we get into your book, I like to ask any writer, author, illustrator, especially an illustrator, what made you want to do illustrations?
I have been drawing since I can remember. I was one of those kids that my parents would come up to school and the teachers would be like, Erik is a good student, but he has a tendency to daydream and he has a tendency to doodle. And it was just one of those things that I would rather draw than eat. So that I've been an illustrator for as long as I can remember.
Tell me a little bit about the book.
Well, the book actually started off as a greeting card. I used to do greeting cards out of college. Like I would do homemade, hand-drawn greeting cards for like friends and family for like birthdays and Christmas. And Jingles started off, it was just kind of a joke, really. It was a Christmas card with an elephant standing in the snow in front of Santa Claus. And he had one of those little, jingle bells in his hand. And the, Santa Claus is standing there and he's like, man, you crazy. Like, I'm not gonna have an elephant pulling my sleigh. And that was the joke. And everybody liked the card. It was really popular. And the idea of Jingles the Elephant stuck in my head over the years and actually became a song. And the song just kind of like the idea of Jingles the Elephant, jingity jing 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 jingity jing jing, and it just stuck in my head for a really long time. And then eventually I was like, okay, let's sit down, let's write the lyrics. Then I wrote the lyrics. And then I have Macintosh. You have what's called GarageBand, which is a pretty generic music program that comes standard with iMac. And I just kind of put the song together. And then I did the song. Then I illustrated the song, just kind of a slideshow, something that I can make a little video to show my friends on YouTube. And then my friends were like, Erik, you realize that you just wrote a book, right? You just made an entire book because there's like 40 illustrations. And I was like, well, I guess I did. So then I reformatted all of the illustrations that I did for the video and turned it into a book with the song lyrics as the words to the book.
Gotcha. So throughout the book, why two Santas?
The original Santa in the greeting card was a black Santa. And then as I started to put the book together, I had recently read a book called Holidays on Ice, which is a collection of short stories by an author named David Sedaris. And he tells a story about how he worked in a mall one year for Christmas as a Christmas elf, and the Santa Claus that he was working with was black. And some people were a fan of it and some people weren't. And I thought to myself, how hard would it be for me to make a black and white Santa Claus? And it's literally in Photoshop, it's the click of a button. It's like, because I didn't want to ostracize one group of people over another. And it wasn't any trouble for me to do both. I have self-published the book, Jingles the Elephant Saves Christmas, on Amazon, and there's a copy for a white Santa Claus and there's a copy for a black Santa Claus, and everyone is very appreciative of it. I've never gotten a negative comment. I've got 4.5 stars on both Santa Clauses. So
Gotcha.
It's just worked out really well.
Some clever marketing there. So what's the message behind Jingles the Elephant?
Jingles the Elephant, the message behind that is to not let people tell you what you can't do or tell you what you can't be. Just because you're a 5,000-pound elephant doesn't mean that you can't fly. If you want to be something that sticks out from the crowd or goes against the grain and people don't believe in you, sometimes people don't see your vision. Sometimes people don't see what it is you're trying to do. And the message is for you to stick to your guns, believe in yourself, work toward those dreams, and eventually they will come true.
I bet you a lot of people are going to be very appreciative of Jingles the Elephant Saves Christmas. So with that being said, tell us where we can find your book and where we can find you on social media, and if you have any type of promotions going on.
Sure. You can find me on Instagram for Erik Island. That's ErikIsland. I have a Facebook page, Jingles the Elephant. And through there, you can find my website. It's a Wix website specifically for Jingles the Elephant. It is bit.ly/Jingles the Elephant. And that's a capital J, capital T, and a capital E for elephant. All of these things you can find on my Instagram page or my Facebook page. That will lead you to the book on Amazon, which is available for print and on Kindle. And also, I have an ebook that is animated that's available on iTunes. And on my Facebook and Instagram page, you can find promo codes that will give you a discount on the ebook on iTunes.
Excellent. Well, you're listening to the Wow Podcast. I'm your host, Darshawn McAway. Go to WowPodcast.shop. That's WowPodcast.shop. Erik Island, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Darshawn, thank you so much.